sending out the legal fees with the lawyer. You contact the lawyer and
We
say,
can
hey, listen.
maybe negotiate that with them, we have to see what they have to say, but I have a feeling that at least our current lawyer is gonna say, no.
What
You know,
about an
that's why we're
hourly
looking
rate
at other options.
for this?
Well, then say, hey, you're not our current lawyer anymore. There's
We can
only
change-
one lawyer for
yeah.
it.
I'm over with. Do you want the correction policy reviewed by the attorney, so that we can change it, so right?
The current ones? Well, we're gonna have to, once we do this, we're gonna have to, if we go forward with this motion tonight, we're going to have to get this back to the lawyer and say, the collections policy is changing again, and you are no longer dealing with the first portion of this.
I think
You're
it
dealing with the ones that we hand over to you.
Right.
I think there should only be temporary Leland though, until you get a good system down, a good lawyer. You know, once you get a good, because you're
We're
filing
looking
with
for,
both, right?
we're looking for a stopgap right now to stop.
Yeah, no, I understand exactly what I agree, but I'm just saying, until you get a good system with a good lawyer, like, and once you get that, you should go back, because you're filing with the court, they're filing with the court under their name. So basically, all the creditors, everyone else is gonna be going to them instead of the proper attorney once it's turned over to the
And that's
court.
the problem I'm dealing with, because I can no longer make decisions on it. They need to go through the lawyer before it's gonna be wiped out, they're gonna need to be paid.
Yeah, and-
Whatever they do, even though we're paying them right along, they're still gonna need to clear it.
yeah, because once it's filed with public records, it stays in public records.
Just a thought, what about, maybe those people on the page, you have to continue to do what the policy was.
Right.
You're not, that's not gonna change, you have to go forth for that. But what about like doing Leland for the new batches?
Well, that's what we're saying. We're saying going forward, and then before anything ever gets to the attorney, the board is gonna have to vote on it.
Right, because I mean, that, you can't do anything, there's people on that paper, you can't do anything about, that's already done.
And at that point, we can look at maybe a new attorney for the new ones, if we do have to send anybody.
Why
So,
do you have to go with the new, why can't you give them all to the new attorney?
I haven't even talked to a new attorney to get any quotes or negotiating yet, so I'm just throwing things out.
I'm just saying, I just think it's
Until we get some
for
quotes and we get
attorneys,
some
for
numbers in
attorneys.
there, where
James, could we get maybe, at the next board meeting, maybe get some attorneys to come in and talk to us and how they would handle this? Because honestly, that is what we're gonna have to do, move forward to get out of this.
they're
We've got
gonna
two
want to come
attorneys.
in and dialogue. We need to make a couple motions here, but first,
Yeah.
they're going to need how many are in Larson's hands? They're going to need how many are in Clayton's hands? Before they even go in and say, okay, we're going to take these over for however much money.
Right.
So we need, if we can get a breakdown,
Get a breakdown
how
of it.
many are at Larson Associates, how many are at Clayton McCullough? And I know we have this, but I know we know what's here,
We
but
don't
I
know
need
which
some
ones are
dedication on it and what's where. And then, so we're going to need a few motions. One, that we're going to research a new attorney. That would be taking on any new, I guess, liens that the board approved. So that's going to be one of the ones we're going to need to make. Two, we're going to need to make a motion that we're taking the $500 away from Clayton McCullough and having Leland move forward with theirs is a stopgap of the 195. So they're going to be doing the liens. And then the third thing is, we need to make a motion that the lawyer go over whatever we decide on tonight for the new collections policy to go out. Am I missing anything?
Yeah, the old liens, like, if you're gonna
That was
go
the
with,
first thing.
to go with the new liens, for new liens in the future,
Yeah,
but what about the old ones too?
That was the very first thing I said, we're going to research an attorney to take over
To take over.
the old ones.
All, yeah, I thought I forgot to do,
All.
I'm sorry.
All of them. We don't need three attorneys.
Right.
Right, we need one attorney to do all of this.
Right.
But we'll get the negotiation from attorney and how much it would cost to take over all of Larson's, all of McCullough's.
All right, so can we go through these motions step by step so we can get our vote? I just don't want this to be the only thing we talk about for the rest of the night. So motion number one would be, a motion to pull the existing lien procedure from Clayton McCullough and move it to legal management.
I'll make the motion to do that.
Need a second, please?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? No. All right. Okay, let me go. Okay,
So, how do you feel about it?
what's the second piece? Okay, the second piece is we need to now,
Yeah, but if he starts realizing it's like a lost cause, he's not gonna negotiate anything
to
on it.
revise the collection policy. We need the lawyer to revise the collection policy based on this.
How much
You
your
just
business, you know? He may-
Okay.
Who did it?
I mean, do we have to?
Well, we would, because we the current collections policy is
It
handing
says it goes
Right,
actually.
right, right.
It's
It has to be live.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to have that extra copy?
Yeah, the attorney did that one, the last attorney.
Which one did that? Larson.
Yeah, but
So that's a current policy, and that's pretty much what we can't do. Because it just, it rolls off, I can't interrupt the process.
Instead of just saying, well, you're done, it doesn't matter, we still hold it.
If your other, HOA clients have good collection policies that are more effective than what we're
They do the same
experiencing.
thing now.
Okay.
They do the liens, they only do automatic.
Well,
Once they
yeah.
don't pay in the 30 days to get a lien off, it's actually a turn.
Oh, okay.
So they're actually harder for those.
No, no, yours is hard.
Oh, ours is hard.
Yeah, they let us put the liens on there. They let us put the liens, and then if they don't pay within 30 days, automatically they're sent to the attorney. So they give them an extra 30 days.
Also, could there be some kind of can we like send a letter if they would like to consult or something on what they owe before it goes
We
to
would need
the
to get a
attorney?
lawyer to draft up
Yeah.
whatever that proper, the proper verbiage would be around the collections policy. Because there are certain laws we have to abide by, what we can say and what we can't say. And if we want to add that to additional, like if you'd like to make payments, or you'd like to negotiate, then contact such and such.
Contact
We need to have that in that policy.
Yeah, a payment plan or something.
I think one of
Yes,
the
exactly.
good thing is going to be, I don't anticipate a tremendous amount of new people, because the dues have dropped $100 now. I don't know, if it's gonna help, I'm sure it'll be less than it, but I still think there's gonna be people. I mean, we can tell from this list, there's still people that are brand new.
James, and I think if you let people understand that they will owe less, because if they negotiate ahead of time, maybe they won't have all those other fees piling and piling and piling.
If we can somehow work that, I think,
If we can work.
when
You
people
need to make
see,
it look like it's benefiting them.
and that's kind of why I was a little nervous what was in that letter. I was hoping there was gonna be higher numbers in that letter, so that people get scared and say, wait a minute, it's gonna be $2,500 if I don't pay $250?
This is the late notice. The intent to lien would be the $75 plus the 500 that he would put on there, plus the other 1,000 that he put on there. So when they see that, that gets their attention. But they don't see any of these numbers right now.
Well, that's why I don't think they see any of the other ones.
No, they don't.
Either, and that's what.
And it just blinds them. And that's part of, and then, go ahead.
And once they see those big numbers anyway, if they can't pay it,
Then they need a way out, and they need
They do.
to come to us to say, what can we do? And they say, well, go to your bank and have them pay it. Get this thing paid, the bank will do that if they have in some instances. So there is ways out, I mean,
That's what we have to be careful of, because we can't say what to do. We can't give legal advice. We couldn't say, go to your bank, it might be.
well,
We have to see what we can and can't say,
Yeah.
who's doing the negotiation there. The only thing that I can negotiate with them is when they send me a proposal and say, okay, James, I want to pay X amount of dollars until, do you agree with this?
Yeah.
And I say yes or no. I mean, if it's something that will never be paid off, usually I say no. Like if they're saying $25 a month, or $25 a quarter, and they're never going to touch it, I'll say, I'll negotiate, say, no, we need X amount down, and then we can pay off the rest. And a lot of these have been successful with me, but I can't take that step unless they come to me. I can't go to them. So that's where we are with that. So the third motion that we need is to research. Go ahead. Oh, the second one, once Jeff is finished.
Okay, so the second motion is going to revise.
Revise the collections policy.
But we need to have a new attorney do that with us. Or do we're going to develop it ourselves?
Well, we have to have it revised right away because we're going to hand it off to Leland. The $500 is going to go to $195.
Oh, okay, well, yeah.
So that's, we can either, don't forget, that was Larson and Associates. So we could have quaintly revised the policy. All we're saying to them is take it away. What we want is we're taking away the lien power for you.
we're not going to
We're
be
giving
sending
it
it to them right away.
Right, the policy is not gonna benefit them, it's just for the association, they can review it as an attorney and say, this is what you can put in and what you cannot put in.
Right.
That's, I think.
So Leland would draft it and then we send it.
No, no,
Okay,
they
they would
will
draft
draft it because I'm not an attorney.
it. What do you think about that?
Who's going to draft the new collection policy? We are the attorney?
No, no,
Or we're going to have to
like,
hire?
I'm
they
the
would have.
association's attorney right now, just saying I'm called.
Oh.
So we tell them what we want.
Right.
So we're going to have to draft a policy that's going to take $500 per pastor out of their mouth.
They have a choice.
Okay. All right.
We're the client, they have a choice.
They're just gonna revise it, whatever we
the automatic step away. I mean,
Automatically going to.
it automatically goes to them, it's not gonna go to them unless we allow it to.
Instead of the attorney.
Because normally the leader just hands it off to them, but instead of handing it off to them, they're gonna hand it to us to look at.
Wait a second, maybe I'm just reading something wrong, but the second bullet says that if it's not paid within 30 days, it shall be prepared and mailed by the management company. That's Leland, right? And then down here, it's not paid within 45 days, it says that the intent, the association's attorney does that. So there's like two different liens.
Why is there, are you having, why is a bullet point?
This is Leland, isn't it?
Which one are you on, bullet 4?
No, I'm bullet two.
Bullet 2. Right, so what's this? Why is this? No, I realize that, but you're saying, you're doing it here and then saying the attorney is doing it
All the
here.
intent to lien, then the association is going to cost.
Okay, all right, that makes sense.
You're saying that
They
the
do the
intent to lien is
intent.
not paid within the 45 days, then
They
the
don't do the
association
actual-
attorney is going to put the lien on there.
Right. They do the intent lien, the $75.
We do the intent to lien. That is just saying in the third bullet, it says, if outstanding balance related to the delinquent assessment is not paid within the 45 days of the intent to lien, the association's attorney firm shall cause a lien to be recorded on your property. So saying automatically, within the 45 days you did not pay the intent to lien, then you have to pay, you be an attorney.
And then the attorney does the actual lien, which is the big money.
Oh, I see, okay. So we're talking, that's after 75 days, okay? No,
45. Yeah, of the
30, 45,
yeah.
75 days,
Oh
okay?
yeah, because we send the intent to lien after 30 days of they're behind.
See, Leland's gonna send the intent to lien instead of the
Right.
attorney, which will save us
Right.
from
So that's
105 to
the-
500.
We've always sent the intent to lien, please keep that. We've always done the intent to lien.
Legal
We're
law
actually
has
gonna put
always,
the lien also.
they're gonna do this, they'll do that next step as
So there's gonna
well.
be two things that we're gonna do.
And then it'll never get to this bullet point automatically like it does now until we say, yes, we want to go forward.
Okay, so this is the policy we have now, and then going forward, it'll be this.
And then it never will get to here until we say
Maybe the
yes.
board, the board, and then a possible review, you know, if the resident wants to review or make payment plan, maybe put that in there before it goes to the attorney. I don't know.
We can see how we can word it, we can suggest all that, have it worded the way we want
Right.
it.
Because you're still giving them almost over 3 months to
Yeah,
go
it's
over
like a
this.
90-day.
Because you don't know their, I mean, honestly, the situation that made them fall behind, but if they know that they can make a payment plan,
And you know what?
not those.
A lot of them that have poverty will say to me, I can't pay it.
Yeah.
I can pay the $300 that I owe, but I can't pay the $3 grand.
Exactly.
So-
That is the whole point, to take it away from the attorney.
That's why I'm gonna hash it all out tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, but these are accumulating up to these large tens of thousands amounts, because the attorney just keeps on.
Because it has this process. And now it's all the time, every time they go to court, every time they review the document, every time they file a motion, it's,
Okay,
every time they make a phone call or talk about this.
we're not gonna get this money anyway. We're not gonna get this.
Well, not necessarily true, because she just said we just got $6 grand. So I think some of them might come in.
Okay.
I don't think we should do anything with getting rid of these until we review the new attorneys. And if we're gonna start looking at new attorneys
Yep.
to do this type of policy that'll take it on,
Well, who wants
pro
to?
bono and then get it on the backside, then I don't mind, taking a couple board members, I'll go and we can take another board member and we can start looking at attorneys.
Yeah, because they
They'll do
typically want to
different.
talk to the board anyway.
Of course.
We could, yeah, they
Maybe.
can come here.
A couple of us can go and vet some of them out and then we can bring them in for the rest of the
Yeah.
board to talk to them.
Could you recommend anyone that?
Yes,
I
I
said,
said, I heard that.
No, she's
Attorney's gonna charge on an
It's
hourly
an
basis.
hourly
As
basis
opposed to flat
instead
rate.
of a flat rate, because residents, they just can't.
It doesn't, don't forget, this is not a flat rate. It's a portion of flat rate, but then it's hourly.
Okay.
So it's a flat rate for some of these, like $500 to do this, and then it's $2,000 to do this, if they get all the way to the part where they're going to court. But individually, I see an itemized bill that says, okay, I spent 30 minutes doing this, I spent 15 minutes doing this, I spent an hour doing this, I spent. So I will see an itemized bill of what they're doing per case, but it's just they're adding up. And some of them, when I get the bill at the end of the month, it's like $4 grand.
That's what collection attorneys do.
Yeah.
So So if they were gonna do it the other way and say, hey, we're only going, like, almost like a real collections agency would do it, we're only gonna get money if you get money, great.
Exactly.
But if they're gonna still bill us by the hour and it's gonna be about the same thing, then
Yeah, but they're not gonna get any money if they're billing by that, if they're billing $23,000 worth of attorney's fees, they're not gonna get any money back, so they're not gonna get any money, we're not gonna get any money, and then nobody's gonna get any money, so.
except the lawyer. I feel the pain. The lawyer's getting the money,
Lawyers.
because we're paying that without getting it
Yeah,
back.
but if they guarantee it work, then we're not paying them anything.
Christina, who is the attorneys? that
I'll have to
you-
look up, the attorney that, is married to my friend who's also an attorney, is Kolowski, or it's Polish, but, I have her
Can you,
information, so I'll have to
email
look
us
it up.
a couple that
Yeah,
you might
just
recommend?
email it.
We
Yeah.
can look at that.
I would say I know my old firm does it, but they were a lot about money too, so.
Okay, Can we finish
Yes.
our motions?
Yes.
So we can just, I didn't want to spend the whole night, but we have to hash it out.
Okay, so the first motion was to have Leland do the liens for 195. Okay, the second motion was to revise the collection policy by taking the top track.
And that's the one we're waiting on.
Okay, and then the third motion is to find an attorney.
I guess to start vetting attorneys for new collections process, they'll do it the opposite way the plans overall.
And
which
get rid
is-
of the other two.
Yeah.
And then consolidate them if they're willing to take these on, if it's going to be beneficial to us.
Just so you know, in the attorney world, having 3 attorneys would be like preposterous. That's
Yeah.
like,
Two.
it's a joke, honestly.
Having two- The only reason, let me tell you this right now, the only reason I haven't moved all these to claim is because if the process starts over and the amount of money that's not in the budget to do it right now. Because there was a proposal at some point to take these over, and he was on there, if he just wanted money, he would have said to me, yeah, James, let me have it. He said to me, it would cost you too much money for you to transfer the rest of those to me. That's what he said to me. Do not, you let him continue with it, because it will cost you more to get them, me take them over.
Well, I showed you, I showed you all the final judgments. That was $50,000 right now.
I don't disagree that the fees are high, but it's hard for me to say he's not being honest with me when he just refused to take on business.
No, I think the ones she's talking about. are-
I'm talking about the first attorney where you had the final judgment, where the guy illegally filed something after the bankruptcy that made you lose the case, after you already had the final judgment in your favor. That's the ones I'm talking about, where that was $50,000 gone.
I don't know. Okay, so are we okay with revising the collection policy?
Yeah.
Someone make a motion?
Make a motion
We should
to
send
revise
it
the
away,
collection
leave.
policy.
Second.
Cost benefit
All in favor?
analysis.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, so that's 2. And then the third one is to vet out some attorneys. So I'll make a motion that we're going to look at some new attorneys to do 2 things. One, look at any new collections, and 2, take over existing collections from the 2 existing lawyers. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
All right.
I think that's it.
This first bullet is dangerous.
Has anyone ever done a cost benefit analysis of sending people to legal at all?
I would love
Like,
to
does
see
anybody
that.
know how much money we've lost
I would love to
in the
see
last 10 years because we're using legal instead of just letting people go? I mean, people think, oh, it's gonna run rampant, but in
I don't
reality,
think anybody's done that analysis.
If you did, you might have a malpractice case right there.
What?
Just, if it is like something ridiculous, you could have totally a malpractice case.
Guys, here's the thing, there's hundreds of HOAs, they all go through pretty much the standard policy, so they're all doing it the same way. I mean, we're not reinventing
well,
the wheel.
right, but if, it's like lending, if everybody's throwing money away, you don't throw good money after
No,
bad.
but this is it. I mean, I have to, that'll be something I strongly disagree with. We can't just cease any type of collection problem.
No, I think
Oh, no, I
filing
agree
a lien, you give them warning, give them the penalties, you file a lien, but at some point, you have to prevent it from running up these $20,000 bills.
Right, which is what we're trying to do now, because right now, the stopgap is, just what you're saying, without a lien, until it goes to an attorney, now we're taking it back in our hands and saying, the board has to look at each individual person. Do we want to, is there a way the collections company can negotiate, or do we want to move forward with an attorney? There are going to be some of those people out there, which, and I get a call about this particular person all the time, that are just not going to do it, and they're going to say, take me to court. And then there are going to be some that are going to be scared enough to negotiate. So I think we'll get more in, I think it'll be better for the community doing it this way, but I don't think we'll ever get to a point where that we can never send anybody to the attorney.
But even when the person says, okay, yeah, take me to court, that's a losing proposition for us.
No, you win in court, then it's just a matter of you file a writ of garnishment or you wait 3 months until they file bankruptcy.
And then you get,
We just need another.
then you pay the legal bills. You lose every way.
Writ of garnishment.
If they have any percent. I don't know what a home and unemployed person, partridge in a pear tree.
You can and snow
You're good.
and say, hey,
So that's what
we
it's
are the community that is willing to work with you on things.
I don't believe we can, because right, that's actually the election.
I didn't see how.
I mean, it's really a settle, our hands are tied, because since we're talking about CCR documents. And we have anything else on CCR?
No, that was it. Just,
Just the mess that we just
did
opened
we
up.
make a motion to go ahead with this light notice and just make the changes as the attorney?
It was approved last meeting, it was just small changes.
That's what I'm hoping.
Now, you can see in the collection policy what I was talking about, the 10%. And let's see, geez, and the first bullet, it sounds like you're charging 10% off the unpaid balance right away.
I'll get with, the attorney on that as well.
Yeah, okay, because that one should be correct at the same time. It's not in the documents to do that, that's what was
Well,
bothering me.
he's gonna review the documents and,
Okay, yeah.
Okay, thank you everyone for your patience on this. Linda, do you have an update on Valley Crest? Anything other than we talked about?
No, I've sent you guys all the updates of what they've been doing. I do have an update, you should have the information from Larry. The whole thing for irrigation by the end of the week.
Okay.
He emailed me.
How do, for people in this room, are you liking the landscaping company? You're not liking, are there any good things, any bad things? Good things? I've seen them out there too. I heard a lot of grumbling when ProScape was here. Is everybody?
It looks nice, the edges are all nice and straight and even.
I think they can just.
They're good in my opinion.
It looks better.
I like it.
It looks
Yeah.
better.
It looks way
We
better.
need to give them some more time to actually fix all those.
Yeah, they're working on, they've already removed some dead
That's a
trees
question for
here
Linda. Yes, I
around
think
the
it's a-
clubhouse and plug in, and got some more to do. Yeah, this will be the time to
they're
them
gonna
to
be
get
there
their
for everything.
James, also we need the approvals for them to bush hog back here, that 9-foot tall grass.
I saw that come through an email. What was the number? There's a cost
I
assessment.
didn't bring it.
But I thought it was-
It was 6 something, I think.
It's a cutter, it's that.
I think 600. I personally think it's something we have to, we should do, but.
That's reasonable.
That's.
It's a big area, it's been let go for years,
No, I know.
and
It's a
there's
tremendous
little
amount.
trees growing out of it, it's nothing but weeds, and it looks bad.
I think it's, I mean, we can get other quotes, but that's pretty reasonable to do that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Brush
it
up.
is, yeah.
Just from.
I just would like to get it approved so they can do it while it's dry, you know, because that's one reason they stopped cutting it in the first
Right,
place in
because
the
it's
summer,
always
because
too swampy.
it kind of sets, the water sets there, but then they did never go back and keep it up like they're
We
supposed to.
looked at it, walk it.
We walked it,
Cut it down now.
yeah. Yeah, they walked all through it, and they said, yeah, it's dry, but they bush hog it.
Now, is that area something that ProScape was supposed to do?
No.
Or something Playground was supposed to, they never did it.
Okay, but ProScape, that was part of
Most
ProScape.
people said they
They
would
couldn't.
without a fee because it was too,
Yeah.
they couldn't put the
No,
numbers.
ProScape told us they couldn't, they didn't have the
They
right,
didn't
bigger
have that
tractors to do that.
Plus, after the price out here for this tree to do it at 1,300, I wasn't gonna get a price from them to do that, because I'm telling what they would charge. So, and we got that
Well,
done.
Valley Crest wants to do it for 600, yeah?
It's 6 something, I can't remember the
Is-
thing.
is it an
I
area
sent it
that-
to James.
No, okay, I'm not certain where it is and what it looks like.
It's right there behind the
Right behind the
clubhouse.
clubhouse, that large area that looks like
It used to
it's
be
starting to
grass.
become woods.
Oh.
Yeah. It used to be grass.
I grew up on a farm and doing stuff like that with a big tractor. If we went and rented one, time to put the fuel and the rental fees, it would probably be about the same.
What is it? That's probably about 30 feet by like 300?
It's a big mountain.
It's a big.
You're gonna have to cut down the trees, first of all, they're not gonna run those over, even with the bush off, they're not running those trees, they're gonna
This
have
is
to cut the
like
trees down.
lawn that they just neglected for years. So
They
now
just
it's
quit
turned
cutting
into like,
And it's common area, it has to be taken care of.
The thing is, Jeff, we paid them to do it.
Yeah, we
and
pay them to
they
take care of it, nobody
They-
ever does it.
Yes, we paid them to do it.
So a lot of the
Paid them
extra
to do their
stuff right
part, paid them
now
that back, and they
that
did it.
we have paid for in the past that
We
should have
paid
been
for
done,
it.
was not done. And we're gonna end up paying
well,
for it.
here's the thing. I mean, I know it's only 6 something. We have a few more months of winter that it's going to be dry. I mean, maybe we need to pick our battles here because, I mean, it also sounds like the fire ants are really important.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Whatever you guys think, I'm,
you know,
as long as the money's there, I think it does need to be done. I just want to make sure that we're not spending money that we don't have.
Oh, also bringing snakes closer to the pool.
no, that's part of it. Yeah. You know, if it's been neglected, hey, shame on us for not holding blade runners' feet to the fire.
Exactly.
It's over and done with, shame on us.
The good thing about it, will be mowed, and now
It could have been over a week whack, and now it can't be.
Okay, Valley Crest will be mowed.
Okay, now Valley Crest, if they do this and there's one-time deal, then they'll maintain
Yes.
it,
Yes.
they will. So,
They just can't go in
Sure,
there now.
it'll be one time, but then
you have to have that proposal.
I got it on my,
Yeah, I saw it came through.
I think I sent it to James.
Yeah.
I think it went to everybody. I think.
I probably did send it.
I actually think it's
sent
fine,
it to everybody.
you know, so maybe, well, you know.
A motion to have Valley Crest take care of the brush hog work. Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
How soon can we get that done? Within a month? Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure they can arrange it
Easy.
probably within the next week or so.
It's a couple hour, 3 hour job.
Yeah, it's gonna be, you
Well,
know,
let's get it done.
and then they gotta clean it all out, you know, carry it off.
They're gonna haul away too.
You know, that's included in the
Yeah,
fee.
yeah.
Okay, anything else on that side?
Don't think so.
Okay, Mr. Rep for Social Committee, do you have anything?
Not that I was told to.
I didn't. Can we talk to us about resolution?
Absolutely, Saturday.
Well, I had him report last time because he was in charge of that.
Oh, okay, all right.
I'm in charge of this one on
This is
Saturday,
Linda's.
so. This is it's not a breakfast with Santa anymore. We moved it between 12 and 4 p.m. And Ale House is gonna be here. We've got the vendor, the small business owners that live in the community are gonna set up their tents and tables out here to sell their goods.
Did we invite any of the cable companies out?
No.
You think we should?
I think.
I think maybe we should get both of them out. I mean, I know some people are still happy with Comcast. I personally don't like them, but it wouldn't hurt since it is at the end of the month.
Yeah.
If
You
we,
think on this short notice they'd show up?
for customers?
All of
I
them.
think if, you know, if they're going to get cut, if they want to throw proposals out, it doesn't hurt to get them in. I think it's only helping the residents.
Okay, so you want,
I don't really care about them. I just
Brian
think
House
it's-
put it in here.
I
Last,
see Jackie's number.
I can talk to Bryce House.
okay.
Oh,
yeah.
we can have multiple groups.
Yeah.
Just to say we can't have Comcast and they're not
We
sponsoring
can
anything.
have them, right. If
So
they just want
why don't we
to-
get Comcast, Gray House, and I can even run to Best Buy and ask the dish guy if one of those guys will come out.
We're not allowed to TV or
But,
Yeah, you can have little ones. in there.
but I can talk to Bryce.
By the way, Bright House wasn't in the community today, going door to door.
Okay, you call him and ask him if he's interested in coming out and setting up the
Okay,
table.
talk to him about
She's been talking to Bright House.
Just be
so
sure that you let them know that there will be other cable vendors here, because that'll actually probably give them a push to come anyway.
It will.
Well, yeah, but I think it'll probably come. I'm one person.
No, not
He was
Santa.
the one that was out here.
We
It's
thought.
coming
Is that what I like? Is that what
down.
was walking around today also?
No, oh, you know what, the guy did tell me he's gonna be out here this week.
Okay, so you're supposed to.
Bright House, that you want anybody from DirecTV or anything?
Yeah, I think we should try to help direct and try to.
No, that wasn't him today, but
That's
the other person that was with him.
Comcast, Bright House, and
Okay.
Paulette, you're gonna contact Bright
I'll
House.
contact his.
And you're gonna send me the number for Comcast right now.
Ken was one of them, there was 6 people.
Oh, well, I was talking to my daughter.
I don't think there's any, there's another one.
One of them.
Other than Dish.
Dish.
Oh, DirecTV. Dish and DirecTV.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, and what else about the event? I'm sorry to interrupt, I want to make sure
No,
we
that's
have. it on the list.
And we're gonna have a food donation drive, which we will donate to Buffalo Food Pantry. And for every canned item or non-perishable that you bring, you're gonna get a raffle ticket. And for a drawing for either a $25 gift card to Ale House. The big prize is 4 magic tickets. And there's Starbucks, there's different things.
Who's it sponsoring that?
SBK.
Yeah, SBK, Stacy.
Go figure.
Yeah, Stacy. And we got all the door hangers out now. We call it back and I did in Bristol today, so we got that out.
That's a big name.
Do we have something?
Yes, it is.
Did we ask Jeff
What's
what's
his
on the
name?
website?
I did it.
I did, and it should have went out today, this afternoon. Everybody should have their email from the
Email
website.
did go out to me, just to get out.
Yes, because I talked to him this afternoon.
I got you.
Kathy to pin it to the Facebook page as well.
I already asked for that too, to put that out there.
If anybody's still on the other Facebook page, if we can pass that word along, if there's going to be an event.
I don't think we
Okay, well, if you happen to be,
Well, I think Cheryl said it, I'm on both pages, I think Cheryl did mention it.
well, if you're on both pages, you can let them know.
Cheryl did mention it.
Good.
So you can go ahead and share it with them as well.
You can share the flyer that's.
Share the flyer.
If you want
I
to.
think just cut that and make it. Okay.
Okay, the last thing we had that was a late entry into this, we took care of full slate, we took care of collections policy. We talked about this a little bit briefly a few meetings ago, and then briefly last meeting, is security. And whether, what we want to look at regarding security. Do we want to use deputies? Do we want to get rid of the existing security? What do we have? It's our last topic for tonight, but it's something we've been kind of tabling.
Well, the thing is, like, I made contact with that gentleman's name, is Robinson?
Is it
Randy.
His wife.
Randy, and his wife Michelle. He basically issued a proposal saying that, you know what, for $50,000 per, how much do we pay? We pay about 50 a month, don't we?
52 or 54.
54.
For the year.
For the year.
Yeah, for the year. Well, they would be willing to do the work for like $50K a year. That's what the proposal was. And they worked it backwards and how many hours of coverage that would be. And I think it was like 28 hours.
20 a week.
28 per week, which is less than we're currently getting. But the way, the way you can look at it is that we got less total hours of coverage, but you got more clout. You got someone who can actually arrest people.
What are we currently
And
getting?
have some enforcement.
8 hours, but your problem is, it's so screwy, you have security right around your 7 o'clock at night,
So
when nothing's happening,
it's a 12-hour deficit.
but you've got dead time in the evenings for them to come up here and lock up the clubhouse, and if that's it, because people are coming home, people aren't breaking into cars or into your houses at 7 o'clock at night.
It's 1.7 hours a day difference.
That would be, also, the deputy would be 7 days a week, not 5.
Oh,
That would be 7 days, 4 hours. You don't need, I work a lot of HOAs, and you do not need deputies in here 8 hours a day. That's a
7
waste of
days,
money.
4 hours, what's their normal time frame?
We set the times. We tell them that we want them here, and it should be no earlier than midnight. We want them midnight to 4 or 1 to 5.
I totally agree with that, because usually that's when the crime usually happens.
That's what-
It's like 1 to 3.
If you look on the Facebook with people, I think Jeff Secret was kind of tagging when they were, it's early morning, once everybody's going to bed, the teenagers are out, people are out scoping the neighborhoods. It's not happening before midnight.
Okay. How do we feel about no longer having a security guard at the pool for Brandon?
I don't think we need one.
I don't either, but I want to hear what people have to say.
Is that an
Think it's
insurance
awesome.
issue?
Not having one.
Oh, not having.
Not having.
Is there any insurance issue with that?
I
I mean, it's not, it's
I think it was kind of done for when it was more the younger kids not listening to the pool monitors, that the security guard was a little more intimidating. Who knows that?
And the only issue with that is a liability issue for us too. The security guard is a liability issue. The good
It's
thing about you hire,
severe liability.
the sheriff's office, you hire them, and the sheriff assumes the liability because he's acting under the authority of the sheriff. So could we get sued? Absolutely. But they're going to go after the deep pockets, which is the sheriff. He's have an attorney who's going to defend the actions of the deputy before we have to have anything.
Danny, this has come up, and I'm going to bring it out there. I'm not one to speak for this development, but are they going to start ticketing residents that do any other infractions other than things like that?
Here's the
Because I had a
thing.
lot of residents not liking this policy because of the whole, I don't want to be ticketed for parking here or for, well, I don't know. I'm sure they were insinuating speeding, but
The good thing about it is we can tell them what we want them to do.
We have
If we don't care about traffic enforcement, don't do it. And if they're here from, here's the thing, if they're out here from 12 to 4 or 1 to 5 in the morning, and somebody comes blasting out at 70 miles an hour, yeah, right, you ticket.
But there was a time here, and I remember this because there was a speed trap set right before the Villages. For a short period of time, the guy would always sit in between there, and he would, I could see him pulling people over, and I would hear, and this is before I was even on board, but I would hear people always grumbling about getting tickets going through.
But then they don't need to speak.
But is that, they weren't, I don't disagree, I'm just saying,
We get to
is
decide.
that something that we're putting, are we, they're not gonna be here during the day, it's going to be,
Here's the thing, he can enforce traffic violations.
because I would almost like to see if there's the ability to have them here during the school hours when there's all those infractions.
No, we don't do that. I can take care of that with the motor unit. A friend of mine runs a motor unit. We have them come out here on their dime, not on ours, because we shouldn't have to pay for that for the school. We have them come out during the peak hours to do enforcement there, not at our expense.
That's the majority of the
We
complaints
should-
I hear about
we-
is the school during the day. I don't ever hear about
It's,
anything else.
it's, the whole thing comes down to, it's not even the parent fault, it's the design fault. It's just true the way we design the school.
It
The
is.
flow is not good. We decide, and the best thing about this is we do it in Seminole County is, in this HOA, you go on vacation. You fill out a vacation request slip. The deputy comes in, he sees everybody's on vacation, so as part of his deal at night, he goes on and checks your house in the middle of the night to make sure that the doors are locked, it's safe, and he writes a report. A report should be written every night, a detailed report. I've seen some of the stuff that we're getting, and then when Jeff had made a request, and some of the other ones, they're garbage. They went crazy on it. You should have really a one-page report. I started this time, I left this time, here's what I did. I had 10 vacation checks to do. I did those, I checked the clubhouse every hour, I rode by the park, I did X, and described what they did.
How do they base the coverage? Because I'm sure they're not gonna cover the entire development every single, and maybe they are.
Oh, yeah, you will.
Did they cover all these streets?
Easily,
Not initially.
easily.
Because that was one of the issues the security company was telling us, is that sometimes they're in this area, they're not always in, are they going to take precedent in the areas that were, maybe there was more crime? Are they-
Absolutely. Once
So they get their own report.
here it is, you're gonna have a coordinator for this job, and it says, Michelle, she can look at it and say, we were having crime in Bristol, we're having a couple of break-ins. Split between these hours, we can do crime mapping and say, here's where the problem is, here's where we can spend other time. We don't be sitting at the clubhouse from 2 to 4 when Bristol's getting hit from 2 to 4. So they can respond and be
Well,
proactive.
not to mention the clubhouse is probably the most secure building around here with the cameras and the locks and
Exactly.
everything, so.
And the good thing about it is we tell them what we want them to do. If we're not worried about traffic enforcement, we tell them, if you see something, do it, but you don't need to be spending 3 hours sitting on the boulevard running a break. And we take the exact same what you have budget now and don't spend it a dime more. And if I'm not mistaken, it works out to less money per month. I think it was maybe $980 a month compared to like 11 or 10, 20 or something. It was like a $100 difference by going together. That's cheap.
And the liability that what you guys are taking on with the security company is so great. Trust me, I've seen it where the security company has done something bad in HOA, and it costs.
It's just that
Security
security doesn't have to go out of
Gated
they can actually do
community
something
check.
right when it's happened.
Access
Well,
points.
the security guard will do something stupid, or he found out that he didn't file an I-9 correctly, he wasn't even allowed to work, and now you guys are liable for that, and that takes 3 years, and you're spending, talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars in attorney fees.
Aren't we insulated? Because, I mean, shouldn't the security company?
They do, but it's going to be minimal.
It's gonna be minimal compared to the HOA, it's gonna be way much greater.
We've got a sheriff who has probably 5 or 6 attorneys on staff, and he will go outside for federal suits against the sheriff's office. They're used to it. They're gonna provide the experts. If the deputy uses force out here to arrest somebody and somebody gets hurt, they will provide the expert to come and testify why the deputy was justified. We sit back and do absolutely nothing other than our attorney can kind of piggyback and see what happens. He has to do nothing. It's the sheriff's expertise.
That's such a great liability that we can be on our shoulders.
It will wind up less money too.
Okay, does anybody see, and I have to ask this, there was a reason that security was put into this place. I don't remember what it was, I wasn't involved at the time. does anybody see any pros for security guards as opposed to the deputies? Because if this is just gonna be a wash, and it's becoming a moot point to discuss, if nobody has a pro for using the security company, does anybody have a pro?
Is there any advantage to not having either one? The total liability for the year is $50,000, right?
No, because then you
What?
get liable if your house gets broken into, and then you should be liable again, so.
Well,
is
is
it
the HOA and
Well, for not trying to have it finance.
Is it as an amenity?
To what extent is the HOA required to protect every homeowner in the whole place?
And there's no your documents that says you have to.
No, I don't see it
She's
that way.
answering the question right now, there's no
No.
reason to act.
I don't see
require
why,
that.
I don't understand why $50,000 of our money is spent every year trying to do what? I'm just asking,
Is the security company called an amenity?
The
are
only
we
thing,
getting that benefit?
No.
I don't think we
I don't think
are.
we're getting it with the security company, I personally don't, I'm all for.
Well, absolutely, I mean,
police
I think that everybody probably agrees that the deputies take liability off, they're better all around and this, that. But the thing is, again, at what point are we throwing good money after bad? What benefit are we getting from it? Is it decreasing the actual crime, even if it is?
It will
decreasing it to the
It will,
zero?
and I'll tell you why. Criminals call, these people over in Bithlow know we have a security guard. They're very aware of it. They will know that a deputy is here now within a short time, and they'll say, I can go here where there's a deputy, or I can go here to Corner Lakes and take my chances with security whoever they got.
Well, right.
They're going to go to the easier place, because then they will be concerned, I could run into a deputy here. The extra benefit we'll have for our deputy, once the deputies learn that we have Wi-Fi up here, if I'm the deputy working out here by chance, not that I ever would, if I'm the deputy here, my buddy may come by and see me, check on me, hey, are you okay? Bring me a drink or whatever. Now I just put an extra car in here. And that's a fact. You'll see more patrol cars in and out of here.
It's open Dunkin' Donuts.
There's no Dunkin' Donuts out.
Free coffee.
That's an old lifestyle. We go through some free.
You bring up a really good point. That
Are we getting benefit?
I don't
for it?
know,
I
because
see-
we haven't had the police force in here. I mean, I can say, I don't think we're getting any benefit for security.
Well, I mean, are we incurring, assuming the police officers or deputies going to be able to decrease the crime to whatever extent? Are we
I
going
don't
to
think
benefit
anyone's
the
done the research. We can probably go do
$250,000?
some research and find out
Here's
places that don't have deputies versus do and what the.
I have a question. When I work with deputies, if they get called to an emergency, they leave the property.
Yep,
Is that something that? we're
that's a
looking
fact.
into?
They're going to. If somebody's getting robbed over here at Corner Lakes, and he's the closest deputy, absolutely, he should leave. The good thing about it is though, he goes off of our time. We stop paying him the minute he leaves. He goes on sheriff's
So we
overtime.
are guaranteed the 28 hours a week.
Oh, yeah, don't make it, if
See,
I was
that's
here,
a
I left for 2 hours,
That's a
I would have
benefit
2 hours.
right there. You see, that's almost worth it. To know that if something happens, this guy's a half a mile away from us.
Yeah.
That's a benefit.
That's huge.
You know, the other stuff, I don't really see the benefit there. But to tell me $50,000 tells me somebody's in this community,
I have to agree with you on that, because my handicapped child last year played with the phone in the house. He dialed 911. Sheriff deputy showed up 3 hours later saying somebody called the number and hung up.
And that's where
Having
you're
here,
call.
and I told the guy, thank God it really wasn't an emergency that somebody tried to reach you and hung up.
see, if you're telling me about benefits, I don't necessarily see, in my humble opinion, that, it's going to decrease crime that significantly. It will, but that significantly, I don't know. But having somebody on hand for an actual crime, maybe a crime in progress, it's we got somebody right over here. It's like, oh, geez.
The other good thing about it is we can drop them whenever we want. We decide if we want them today, and a month later we don't like them. There's no year contract. There's nothing basically. You're hiring them for off-duty detail. They work it. You say next week, we don't want you anymore. They end next week.
Dan, let me ask you this, can we add additional hours if we want?
Absolutely.
Like,
You tell them.
holiday time.
They tell you a minimum from what I know.
It's more of a break-in type of season. We could add additional hours for the winter.
Absolutely. If you wanted to go a couple of days a month and have them out here in the morning, you could have. Or if you wanted to 4th of July,
I'm
New
just
Year's
thinking the
Eve.
big, crime is just before Christmas is always.
You absolutely,
break-ins
you
are
can
higher.
add as much as you want to. What I would recommend is we would, if we did go that way, is get a cell phone. And they came in here each night with keys to everything. They came in, picked up the cell phone, so if a resident needed something, what's it now? Who has the security guard's phone number? Now we could post somewhere, this is the deputy's number. You know, if you have a problem, it's not
And
an
then would
emergency.
they be answering the cellular that we would provide?
Absolutely. That's part of their agreement, guaranteed.
In that case, you'd want to have a backup in here, just in case if they get called and they leave the neighborhood, they're not going to stop by here to just drop a cell phone off. So you want to have a cloned phone for the next deputy to show up, just in case they.
Most of them are gonna have it, but it would be nice to know that if you called and it's on the website, whatever,
Yeah,
and the house checks, and the familiarity with the residents who belong to
But
the
you don't even know when he's here, he's only here a couple hours every day, right?
Who's that?
You said it's only a couple
4
of hours.
hours, did you say it's 4
Yeah,
hours?
so I mean.
We can go as many as we want, but just from 26 years of experience, we don't need to pay them for eight hours here. That's a waste of our money.
And then we were looking for the kind of crime time.
The realistic, and the good thing about it is they can pull the crime and say, we've had X amount of break-ins, here are the hours. You know, these burglars we saw on Facebook with a video where the guy was up around the cars, you know, a patrol car steadily moving around. I can tell you right now, as we speak, there are 3 deputies from the Brevard County line to Osceola to probably about Dean Grove. There's 3 deputies. Figure that's on a full shift. If one of them's at jail or 2 of them on calls, you may get the deputy has to come from Cimarron all the way out here, so you're increasing our time. So I said, in the burglaries, you know, obviously 3 hours for a 911 call, that's unacceptable. We should be able to have in here a 1.5 to 2 minute response to any neighborhood in Cypress Lakes.
I
And
see
then on top of that,
everything
they're on
benefit
their
of
off
that.
the clock and they're on their way home, and then they get a call saying, hey, there's a burglary going on here. They're already close by and they're already on the clock.
We can request bicycle officers that, you know, part of it, we want you to ride a bike out, because that's really one of the best ways to catch people breaking this stuff is quiet moving around. If that's what our issue is put them out
It seems to be
here.
in Bristol, just from the reports I get from the complaints.
That's what I was going to ask if I can. What is the general consensus of where these things are happening? Because I'm in Bristol
I
and it's
get a
just
lot, I
like.
get reports from Bristol a lot, I get reports from Manchester,
Waverly, Town.
Waverly.
Bristol is like
This town, too.
3-4 times a week.
It's all after midnight.
And I think most of them is like petty stuff, petty vandalism and going into the cars and takes them out the cars. I don't think it's a lot of home invasions. I think there's been maybe less than a handful of them, but.
Historically, they don't, you're not gonna, most people are gonna break your house when someone's there. They're gonna break your house, it's gonna be after about 9:30 in the morning till about 2. You left for work, the kids left for school, they're gonna catch you in that downtime, is when they wanna hit you. That's just historically the way it
And I
is.
don't care who you have out here, you're not gonna be able to do
No.
everything. No way.
Right,
Deputies
that's why I'm
or-
saying, where's the benefit to the 50,000? You know, I see 5 years, $250,000 down the toilet to what? To stop people from breaking into our
Well,
cars?
I think there's 2 benefits. One benefit is enforcement. We can't get any enforcement with the current security companies. The second benefit is that it gives residents a certain sense of peace of mind or a little bit of security, knowing that, hey, you know what, there's an officer patrolling around here. He's not gonna catch everything.
Peace of mind only goes so far.
Well,
And the other thing is that it's already approved in the budget, you know?
But,
You don't take that away now, but you know the outcry you're gonna hear?
It also helps when you move somewhere, a selling point is that, hey, we have law enforcement patrol here. Dude, that's gonna be something.
Yeah,
people
no,
are
I see
gonna-
that as a benefit, I see the benefit of actually having somebody here who can respond to something. Those things I see, but that would be beneficial even if there was no crime going on.
But I would say that you definitely are getting nothing for money now.
Yeah, that's good, yeah.
If you do it, I think you should change and give it X amount of time that you want to see, 6 months, 3 months, whatever, and let's see what happens.
Well, since there's no contract, it's already in the budget.
If you're not gonna kill security, it just makes sense.
First things first, we have to have a motion to want to pursue this. We have to get all the details. I mean, I have his contact information somewhere, and I can forward that, you know? I can forward it probably to the rest of the group, to the rest of the board.
That's what
We
I
can all
was
review it, make sure we feel comfortable
Make
with
a
it,
decision next
you
week.
know, and then go forward with it.
And I think you make a decision now, you took 60 days now, because you have to give them a 30-day
Yeah.
notice, even though, I think you make your decision, you go on Orange County's
I
website.
think it's 60 days, it's not.
Really?
I got
I'm sorry.
I think you need to make it, because It's not like there's anything else to bid, that's your company.
No, I mean, we know what the amount is. The amount is actually a little bit less, so I don't think, it's not the money that's the factor right now. It's whether we want it or not. I mean, I personally want that, I personally have always wanted that in here, so I'm going to be a go-go no matter what. I don't know how the rest of them feel.
Well, I've seen the security guard detaining people before, and that scares me.
That's a
He can't
liability.
do that. Right in front of the village, right in front of your, sign in the restaurant. You detain the guy right there.
Yeah, you changed my stepson. I
That's-
wanted to know if he lived here.
So he's.
I said, just, and he told me, he said, yeah, I live in this house right here. And then he wanted to show an ID. He's like, I'm 16.
But the private company, there's no right, they have no right.
No, I wouldn't have to talk about it.
Yeah.
That wasn't me. I understand why they did it. I said he was respectful to everything, but I still had to talk to him.
But, you know, if people aren't familiar, the only place the security has any authority is the clubhouse around the pond that we own and the park, that's it. The streets, he has no authority whatsoever, zero. And he stops and detains them, that's a liability we can be sued for.
Well, that's why I see the benefit in cutting it completely. There's no benefit in having security, I've always said that. But, you know, if we can get deputies for the same price, that's no brainer.
It's actually a little less. You don't want a little less.
And for the $3 a month, might as well get the deputies.
Right, yeah, I mean, all day long, that makes sense.
Prior to the expiration of the term.
So it's an auto renew.
Well, we don't know the expiration of the term.
I'll do that. I phone to him.
Security.
That's an auto renew.
I think it's just, I mean, you see all the dead roads on the road.
You know, we've been in here for 9 years now. I see these
On the
little
first
kids,
page,
including my daughter, that are not willing to.
it says 2011, but it doesn't say the month or the day. It's blank. So we need to get.
Oh, this is,
Yeah, but keep on going. Not that page, next page.
Out here tomorrow. If you want, not you would, I'm saying, though, exactly, you contract with the off-duty section, they give you all the paperwork, you fill it out.
We got.
Michelle will use her as a coordinator, she's paying a coordinator's fee to make sure, here's the hours, here's the billing, everything's taken care of. And I recommend you have a coordinator, because the coordinator will go out and find.
if we can get out of this one, explore.
We need to get out of that one.
Because
All of them
it
have a
reads,
30 day out?
it reads as an auto renewal from the date of the term. So if they have a copy that has a certain date on it, it says we must give 30 days prior to the expiration of the term. If we're not within that expiration of the term, and they fight us on it, it's an auto renewal.
Wait, that also had an auto renewal on it?
Didn't say auto.
Sorry, I'm saying it wrong. It has an expiration of term, you have to give 30 days when their term.
Okay.
So if their term is not until this July, we can't cancel until June. If you give them 30 days.
So we can cancel.
Sign the
Contract.
contract like that. I mean, seriously.
That's the contract they provided with no date on it, they cannot provide another contract that has a date on it.
Right, this is a copy of the, it looks like a copy of the original, so if they're gonna show us what's the date
Well,
now.
I would
They can't do
trust that they.
No, because if this is from 11,
Yes, I don't know the legalities, and I'm just saying, this is what the copy says in black and white, and we may have to end up fighting
Isn't
it.
that the last, the only contract we have, so it's 2011?
So we never
I would say their
renewed that.
term would be up, and we're just paying them on a month-to-month basis.
If there's no auto renew, yeah, then we should be month to month. I didn't see.
Because I don't see any, if there's nothing in there on auto renew
It's the
or,
very last page if there's an auto renew.
It doesn't say out.
no.
They have no date that they signed and executed.
If that's from 2011, how can the term not be
Well,
up?
here's the problem, if they produce something that's 2012 that we don't have a copy of, and it says a different date, we're gonna have to fight it. So we need to see the 2012
We
contract.
need you
I
to
got
contact them.
So you want to they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes they don't know anything until it comes down to you're canceling it, and then just like Comcast, now all of a sudden they're saying February.
Yeah.
When they were saying December all the way along. We don't even
Ask them for their current size.
Exactly, just ask them for the
That's what we really want.
The current.
Just if they're not taking this action, of updating the files, it would be just like the most current one.
Yes.
And
this
then,
is-
oh, this is 2000,
This is what I
okay.
have for Nancy, and you guys, when I asked for this.
simultaneously.
That's more current. Their terms,
go forward with getting something from the department that's an actual contract, or whatever.
You can get that online, it's all there, online, I gave you, it's all, the Orange County, all community, you look at that, and in a second, it will give you basically,
All right.
not the contract, but the agreement, explain what they do.
We'll start that now,
Yeah.
and then this way next meeting, we can make a motion once we have the date of the expiration.
Go down to the side.
Yeah.
We can't do it until we have the.
Just in case you get more, and as Tom said, you might want to look at the contract, we pay extra for security on holidays. The rate increases for holidays.
But what about with the deputies?
They have an increase on holidays too.
Okay, all right.
But here's the thing, if you don't want them on Christmas Day, you don't have them. And realistically, Christmas days are slow days, you don't need, New Year's, yes, Christmas, no.
I have a question. This contract has no date. Well, are you guys holding this contract, or Leland hold this contract?
We should have a copy in our contract.
Okay, so Leland accepted a contract with no date?
This is 2011, it's 2 years ago, I don't know this year.
It probably is no new one, that's probably the only one
Right, so
that
we're
we
gonna check
have.
it, and I know that we had a meeting for it, and we actually signed it at a meeting.
But this was 2011.
Term would be in the contract.
The date, the origination date is in there. I think there are some cases where that does happen. If we sign something and then we need to sign something, it's not fully executed until both parties sign.
But you need to-
Right, but that's the
But there should be a
what's
date
the
for
term?
both people. For some reason on that signature page, it's signed, but there's no date on the signature page.
Right, the date, but what about the term? Because you said something
It
about
looks like
30,
it looks like it's 12 months
12 months?
from the date of it.
So
It
it's
was
only
a
one.
I remember though, it was approved because they were looking for different contracts. And I got them the bids for it, and they went back to them.
I think he has been a couple of years, because they had 3 companies,
Yeah,
and one was in
The dates are
Get all the
next year.
info and then do it.
So, next board meeting will be,
I have a question.
you want to ask me?
I have a question.
Thing I sent you.
Oh.
January 7th, yeah.
I got something else to ask him too.
Oh, yeah.
Where's the park gate?
Oh, I got this.
The playground gate.
Yeah,
We gave- You know, we've got to get down there, it's been like 3 months. Because
That's-
the dog would run in there and bite a kid or something without gate, and there's no kids
Okay.
protected.
This is just something
I'll
that.
do that tomorrow. Just sign off.
You promise you're gonna.
I promise I'll sign up
All right, I'm
for it
writing
tomorrow.
down the date and the time you said.
in the minutes.
That's what they do.
Okay, wait, before we, I'll get you. What is this?
This is something, do we want to put this in amendments? This is about social media and neighborhood watch, Cypress Community Association. This is as an email, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, et cetera. Cypress Association does not and will not endorse, sponsor, recognize, consent to, subscribe to, will not be responsible for any social media now or in the future. Any social media with any of the following words or combinations thereof in the title or whereas within will apply to this disclaimer statement. Cypress Lakes Community Association Incorporated. Now why we're doing this is because we had situations that people get onto social media and all of a sudden we don't have the problem. And this disclaimer may help that situation. Now, do we want to enter this into the meeting minutes? Or how do you?
The one that I can't, email, I don't know how you can even sanction, I mean, email, everybody uses email here. I don't think we can put email in there. The website is a form of social media, it can be. I mean, if you're gonna limit it to Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, and you're saying et cetera, I don't know what's gonna fall under that and what's not gonna fall under. That's kind of broad. You know, because we can't, we use our own website as official business. That's,
But
some
that's,
people,
that's.
some people will say that's social media.
I have a friend who works at.
If you're just saying we don't endorse it, I don't see what.
I have a friend who works as a paralegal at First Amendment Law. I can have her look over it and he'll give you an alert. And it is First Amendment stuff, so it's exactly what they work with all the time. So
We could, but could we run this past the meeting?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, this stems from the whole meeting then, right?
Is he gonna charge us?
It sounds like it.
He's gonna charge us.
I mean, go over $50 charge.
it costs $1,000 a pen.
I had to go over that before, it's $50 to go over that. It's not breaking back.
Okay, as long as it's not a 300.
And this other section that you have on here about neighborhood watch, we have signs up that say neighborhood watch.
Yes, but
We don't have watches.
And I agree with that, but
Not
But that's also
before.
only in the villages.
Yeah, I know, but
Only the villages have those
Let's
signs.
talk about it, I think you're endorsing it.
I think so.
Yeah.
So I think we should have something to do with it because
So
to catch it,
that's not the board doesn't get involved in it,
Oxford,
and you're not involved in the neighborhood watch meetings, no way that.
But I don't think you have an active neighborhood watch.
no, but you have signs
Well, in
that.
Oxford, there is, because people do.
I like the signs right in front of my house, I don't want that down.
Just one of
No,
those.
you know what I mean? There's people that are gonna say, why are we taking a sign down that's gonna keep?
But here's the thing, George Zimmerman, when they say, okay, you've got somebody decide, well, I was doing it as neighborhood watch, and we're saying here, we
You can
want
say the
this.
same thing about the no fishing signs, Danny.
Oh,
And that's where it comes into the enforcement thing. Are we gonna pull off all the signs because Neil says, hey, we really shouldn't have those signs up? Because
No.
if we're not enforcing it, then all those no fishing signs will go. Same thing with the solicitation, to be honest with you. But I'm
Why
not
are
gonna,
we enforcing the no fishing there for
because
non-residents?
We're not enforcing
because
anything.
we can't. We can't enforce no fishing.
You could enforce it.
For non-residents?
How-
Non-residents would be
who's
trespassing.
enforcing
Well, that's what I'm saying.
it? Who can you, and I'm just,
Yeah.
I'm not saying this against you. Can you go out to any of those ponds and see somebody out there and say, I think he's resident, I think he's not? You can't stop the risk and say, hey, give me your light,
Right.
what are we gonna say to him? Who's gonna do it?
Here's the thing, you can put up a trespassing sign,
Yeah.
and if the deputy comes out and finds somebody fishing there, he's gonna tell him to leave, and he can issue a trespass warning, which is something else I think we need to do, is give the sheriff's office an affidavit that says any deputy can come out here and trespass somebody with it
So a deputy can walk up to me and say, I need you to produce your ID?
out here.
Yes.
How can they do that?
You can come ask any for everybody for ID.
They don't have, but I don't have to give it to you.
You don't have to,
Exactly.
but 9 out of 10 people will do it because, you
But
know.
my point is this, you pay to walk around this community without being hassled.
Here,
If I'm standing by the pond, whether I'm fishing or whether I'm not, I don't want a deputy coming up to me as a resident
but here's the thing.
to say, hey,
Here's the thing.
Are you
Here's the thing. I fished a bunch of these ponds and no one's ever called anybody on me. But when you see people, and people see it all the time, walking through the back,